Today we're doing crafts for the craft room. Specifically, I'm doing crafts for my craft room and I thought I'd bring you along. And at the end of the video, I have a quick craft room update. There aren't enough changes yet to make a whole new craft room tour video, but I know I love anything craft room or craft space related, so I thought I'd share that. But I stuck that at the end, so feel free to leave after the crafts are over. Well, let's get started. I have this thrifted old hanger here. I really like the look of it, and I'm going to make a hanger to hang on the wall to store some small decorative items, paper items. And so just for it to be cost effective, you could use fabric and do this, but I'm just going to be using a roll of craft paper, and it just happened to be the right width. And I'm going to attach it by just folding over on the back, folding it over the part where you would hang your pants on the hanger, the bottom of the hanger. And so that's got the paper attached to the hanger. And you will make this as long and with as many pockets as you need. And the size of the pockets will depend on the size of the items you're wanting to display or have stored in this hanger here. And to sort of make the pockets more sturdy, I did fold them in half so that it's double layer of paper. You could use cardstock. And to attach the pockets, I'm just using some glue stick here. And you're just going to want to, of course, leave an opening. You're only going to want to glue the sides and the bottom of each pocket. And I made various sizes because I knew there were various little decorative elements that I wanted to store in here. Little cards, postcards, tags, photographs that I wanted to store in here. I wanted them to be more out in the open and not stuck in a drawer. For one, they won't get bent, being in the drawer. And for another, I really like to be able to visually see things that I could use in a craft, so I'll remember to use them. I acquired a very large, free plastic frame. And I couldn't pass it up, and I thought, it would be great to frame a piece of pegboard, to have a small pegboard in my craft room. We bought a whole sheet of pegboard, 4x8, and my husband cut it down to fit inside this frame. I painted the frame with Truffle chalk paint, just as a base, because the frame was unfortunately plastic. And then over the Truffle, I used some gold acrylic paint. I bought this set of pegboard hooks from Walmart, and I spray painted all the hooks that I wanted to use gold. I wanted to hang some of my stickers and transfers on this pegboard on some of the hooks, so I made these labels to cover each of those sections on the pegboard. And I will have these as free printables in the description box. Printed them out on some craft paper. And you can use, whatever color paper you want depending on the vibe you're going for. And these are sized exactly to the size of the Dollar Tree stickers and rub-on transfers. Luckily, there were, as when I assembled all of them together, there were just two different sizes of packaging. And so that worked out well. And, they were a little bit thin on this paper. If I had used cardstock instead of paper, I wouldn't have needed to do this step. But with some glue stick, I just glued each of these labels onto a piece of chipboard. You could do it on cardboard or just print these on cardstock and skip this step. I cut those out, making sure to punch the hole where the hook will go through. Now also on this pegboard, I wanted to be able to hang at least a couple of either postcards or pieces of art or just different things that I could use for crafting to display. So I have these smaller clothespins, that's what they're called, and I'm going to use my Big Bite, my Crocodile Big Bite, to punch the hole into, for it to go onto one of the hooks on the pegboard. And this way I can just use the clothespin instead of having to punch a hole through a piece of paper to display it on the pegboard. And I can also hang other things from it, like baskets. I got all these different elements finished, then it was time to hang everything that I wanted to hang on the pegboard. I really like that these items are sort of on display, so it reminds me to use them. And I like to display different craft supplies because when I'm stumped or I'm trying to think of what to do with a craft, I can just look around in my room and see items, and it'll remind me that, hey, I could use that, or I haven't used, rub-on transfers in a while, or whatever it is. 9 times out of 10, if something is stuck in a drawer, I will forget that it's there and forget to use it. We had a large section of pegboard left after my husband cut that piece down for the frame, and I told him not to throw away the scrap piece and I would do something with it. There's also a large piece that I think he's going to use in his shop, but I wanted to make this freestanding, so I'm using some tumbling tower blocks, and I was worried about using hot glue, but this is very sturdy, and I was also worried that the tumbling tower blocks wouldn't be enough of a base. I thought I might have to build out on it, but it's very sturdy, and you have to really intentionally push this piece over for it to fall over. It's very stable. I wanted to finish off the edges of this sort of roughly cut piece of pegboard, and so I'm just using some of those long skewer sticks from the Dollar Tree and going to create some trim around it. And I didn't really address this yet, but this pegboard comes in white, but I just used the other side, the side that wasn't white. So that's, that was probably obvious, but I did forget to mention that. I almost stained it, but I tested a spot and the antique wax was going to be very dark on it, and I think any wax would have made this very dark, and I didn't mind the color that it was. After I got some of the skewer stick glued onto the front, then I just wanted to go ahead and cover up the sides as well, and I wanted it to appear, even though it was 2 skewer sticks, I thought if I really pushed them up against each other, it would look like sort of like one trim piece. At first, I stained the bamboo sticks, skewer sticks, with antique wax, and I actually didn't like the look of that. I felt like it brought out the bamboo-ness, Sorry, my brain broke. I think I've said the word bamboo so many times today that it's starting to lose its meaning, but I decided to paint the bamboo skewers. So I used since I was painting it anyway, I decided why not fill this gap here with some lightweight spackling from the Dollar Tree. After that dried, I gave it a coat of ivory. I decided that was a little too bright white for me, and so I went with Cashew for the second coat. I really like how this thing turned out. I like it a lot more than I even thought I would. it's really useful for displaying small items like these decorative tags. And my favorite part is that when I realized I could display all my little knobs that I have on here. I use cabinet knobs and small hardware like that more than what you'd think in just general crafting. And so I like to keep several on hand. And unfortunately, this makes me want to go out and buy a bunch of really cute knobs to display here on this pegboard. I think that would be really cute to even just have the whole thing little decorative knobs. I mean, that might be silly, but I just think that would be really cute. And then you'd be able to see, you know, all the knobs that you have. But these hooks and all of these accessories, pegboard accessories, this is still the ones out of that pack from Walmart. So for $13, it was 50 pieces, and there was several that I didn't even use. This is just a reminder that if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already so that you don't miss any future videos. I don't have that many dried flowers to use in crafting because I don't use them very often, but I do have some and needed somewhere to store them. So I have them stored here in this super stylish cookie tin from the Dollar Tree. And I went ahead and gave it a coat of Truffle chalk paint, just one coat, and then covered that in European Gold Rub and Buff. I thought about making a label that said dried flowers, but I figured why not just put some dried flowers on the top, and that will show what's inside of the tin. So I'm just Mod Podging some of these dried flowers that I got this set of dried flowers off of Amazon, and a little bit goes a long way, and they all fit here inside of this tin. So a lot of pieces because they have them very, very flat. They're very thin. And so it actually fits a lot of these in here in this tin. I am using a good bit of Mod Podge on these because, you know, it is thicker. Even though they're very thin, it is thicker than just Mod Podging paper. And I went over the top of that with another good coat of Mod Podge. This is just a quick few minute update. Not a lot of things have changed in here. Obviously the things I just made are now in here, but the light fixture, I did change that out. It was a modern looking ceiling fan, and so I got this light fixture off of Amazon. It is pretty big for the room. This is a 10 by 10 room, and it almost looks too big for the room, but I really like it. It gives off good light, and it was very affordable. If anyone's interested in the link, just let me know, and I'll put that down in the description box. I like the wood sort of center there, the wood accents on it. But finally, I've got something hanging on this blank wall over here. The pegboard takes up a good amount of space, and I want to put more on the wall, more storage solutions. I did put a computer in here in order to edit my videos, and I mounted the monitor, or my husband mounted the monitor to the wall there, and it's a swing arm mount so that I can pull it out whenever I need to use it. And y'all are gonna think I'm crazy, but I applied some rub and buff to the frame, you know, just directly to the monitor, taped off the screen before doing that, and it's a good temporary fix. You know, I might get some wood trim and make a frame for it one day, but it's holding up well and it looks fine. I like it better than the black. I do also have this dresser now. I did have nothing but boxes storing all my craft supplies. So now I have this dresser and it matches the desk. And you can see that I still have some boxes next to the dresser, so it didn't fit all my craft supplies in it. On one side, I have all my wood items. On the left bottom two drawers, I have my metal items, and the top drawer is just miscellaneous. I haven't organized it yet. I do have some more craft supplies in a closet in my home, and so I'd like to really start using items from my craft stash and stop buying new items for a while, and maybe even get rid of some older items, things that I was going to flip, maybe some craft items that I was like, well, I could do something with that, and so I kept it. I'm sure y'all know how that is, and I'm sure some items I, need to just let go of. Thanks so much for watching today. I'll keep giving little craft room updates if you guys like that sort of thing. I know that I like crafters showing their craft rooms and how they have things organized. And then once a year, I'll probably do a full craft room tour video showing the changes since the previous year. But let me know down in the comments if you like this sort of video, and if you ever have any questions about anything, about any of the crafts or items that I have used in the crafts, throw those down in the comments. I keep an eye on the comments and I try to respond to all of them. But thanks again for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. See you in the next one.